Trojans Live is SC. Here are Jordan Moore and John Jackson.
And now, during the BMW Mission to Drive, lease a 2015 BMW 320i sedan for as low as $369 a month with zero due at signing. Just sign and drive. Details at SoCalBMW.com. Jordan Moore and John Jackson, and it's Clay Helton, now in his 6th year at USC. You've held a lot of roles here, Clay, in 6 years. Did we ever do this show with you as the head coach?
No.
It was the one time, but I couldn't remember if we did it where you were, the first two segments of the show. But you are now the offensive coordinator, not only in title, but you are the play caller. Are you settling into that role and enjoying it?
Yeah, really enjoy it. Really appreciate the opportunity that Coach Sarkisian gave me to do this, and having a lot of fun with it, both with the players and with the offensive staff.
Well, I'll tell you, with the timely play calls that you've had, Coach, we've talked about it, you got to be staying up late nights to think of some of those things that you've been coming up with. It's been phenomenal, the timing of which, things are going with. How much, goes into the preparation part of it that people don't see?
Well, I'm very fortunate as a coordinator because the staff that we have, if you look at a T. Martin, you look at a Marcus Tuiasosopo, a Bob Conley, a Johnny Nansen, and a Steve Sarkisian, right, to be in that room, all the ideas that come out, we all put a game plan together. And, the thoughts and the ideas are very, very creative, as you can see. And if I don't mess it up on game day, it really works. So it's really a credit to those guys that are in that room.
Yeah, when you look at the game plan that you put together for Arizona State, take us through. What were you seeing? Because, as JJ talked about, it looked like a running team. Typically, you want to be on balance, but as that game's going on, you're seeing, boy, there's so many opportunities in the pass. You must just want to. You have that itch to throw every single down. But how did you look at it?
We're always going to try to stay balanced. Even if you look at that game, I think it was like 33 runs to 36 passes.
Yeah.
So but it was hard running day. Yeah, obviously because of the amount of pressures that were coming and going into the game. We really felt that we needed to get the ball out in space, rhythmic throws, timing throws. You saw the crossing routes. You saw the ball out in space to Dory and Steven. And we really felt like our playmakers out in space, one-on-one with their DBs, we felt like we could win that matchup. And credit to the kids. They did the job.
See, and that's the hard thing that I think a lot of people understand is that when you're USC, you're just not going to get what you think it would be the obvious from your opponent. Arizona State was last in the conference in run defense. So that leads people like me to say, hey, they're going to run the ball all over them today. You see things a little bit differently and get a little bit different reaction from Arizona State. What did you get different than what you expected? Because I know you're probably thinking the same thing, that, hey, there's something to be had in the run game.
Yeah, and we see it all the time. Because you're USC, people will come in and they'll change their complete MO.
Yeah.
And credit to Arizona State. They really came in with an aggressive game plan. And we lean on what the defense gives us. And in that game, they were giving us one-on-one matchups. So you have to go out there and you have to throw for 390 yards. And it could be a hard run day like it was. Credit to Cody, credit to the wide receivers, and really credit to the offensive line. I thought they did a really nice job in protection against a very aggressive defense.
Well, if you need to throw for 400 yards, you have the right guy. You've had such a long relationship now with Cody. There's probably no one that appreciates him more than you. And so when we talk about things like 54 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, and if there's anyone out there that doesn't appreciate him yet, what are those little things that he does that, maybe makes the game look easy, and that's why, it doesn't necessarily get the same appreciation that you'd expect him to?
Well, I tell you one, I appreciate him because he's so coachable. He's a very humble person and a student of the game. And, even when he makes a mistake, he realizes it and learns from it. And I was so impressed the other night. You go down there and you have your first interception of the year, and we walk off and we say, well, we're human. We actually proved that we're human. So we laughed about it. And then to go out there and have 5 touchdowns, that's what a fifth-year senior should do. Be unfazed in a big conference game on the road. Extremely proud of his performance.
We talk about adjustments all the time. Usually we stereotype to think they only happen at halftime, right? They go into halftime and make the adjustments. When it comes to your game planning and the adjustments that you have to make throughout the game, such as in this game, is it series to series, play to play? Is it halftime? What is it?
It's series to series, and that's one of the great things, having the gentlemen that we have on our staff, to have T. Martin up in the box, Marcus Tuiasosopo, Coach Sarkisian. You got 4 quarterbacks that have played the game, and all that vision. We talk after every series, basically put a plan together for the upcoming series. What happened? Where do we go to? What's the next shot? What are we getting on third down? Those scenarios, and then be able to relay that to Cody, to the offensive line, to a group of some young backs. It's been very, very helpful for myself as a play caller to have those men.
You brought that up many times. I think that's interesting, particularly when we're having the conversation about where you'd call plays from, the field or the booth. And you said, maybe on another staff you'd have to call it from the booth, but with these 4 quarterbacks, and we'll ask you who the best one is here in a moment. I know you take the games very seriously, where you're trying to hit the goalpost. That's the most important thing that happens each week. But first, tell us, what does that mean? What's a high level? How can you guys have maybe a different conversation than if you didn't have such experience at the quarterback position on the staff?
Well, you see what's going on. You literally see what the front is, what the coverage, where the rotation is, where the pressure's coming from, what adjustments need to be made, and those conversations make it extremely easy. If I didn't have that, yes, naturally you would go in the box. But to be able to have the best of both worlds, to be able to get that information from quality men, and then be able to relay it, in a huddle with all 11 players, and they see eye to eye, and there is no third person, say, hey, this is exactly what we're going to do in a critical situation. A great example is right before halftime, 7 seconds left on the clock, to be able to bring that group over and say, okay, here's the play. Right. Cody, you have to get this ball out on rhythm. You cannot take a sack. If it's not there, throw it out of bounds. We'll kick a field goal. That's stuff you can't do from the box. And to say that eyeball to eyeball to him, and he does exactly what you say, that's what you look for. So we're very fortunate with the situation we have right now.
And who does have the best arm?
I know this. I'm the worst, and I'm coaching the quarterback, so it is what it is.
But they take that seriously. I watch every Sark, T, Cody very seriously.
Coach Sark is definitely the most competitive. I would say between T and Tui, they're the most talented.
All right, well, Clay gets to call the throws that Cody makes, and he is dialing up some good ones this season. So keep an eye on Clay Helton, USC's offensive coordinators. The Trojans take on the Washington Huskies at 6 p.m. on ESPN. That is a week from Thursday at the Coliseum. Remember, USCTrojans.com/Thursday for all the info on that game. Get ready for your next big game. Let Ralph's help make game time a little easier. Place your order today for ready-made party platters at your neighborhood Ralph's Deli or Ralphs.com/order online. The best team at USC right now, the undefeated USC women's volleyball women of Troy. Their head coach, Mick Haley, will call in next on Trojans Live.